I'm going to go now to the second segment. It's keto-friendly snacks. And most of you probably know the ketogenic diet is a diet that focuses on trying to burn out fat rather than carbs. So you cut out the carbs and instead you have a high fat diet. So one of the quickest growing forms of keto-friendly snacks we noticed, which we actually found pretty surprising, was candies and gummies. We saw it makes up a small amount now, but it has a very, very high growth rate and a very high opportunity score. Candies and gummies being in the keto niche, it's a great area for a lot of innovation potential. We also saw bars, which was less surprising, but the growth rate was still surprising. So, these bars are one of the most common forms of products in the keto snack area, but the growth rate, that being said, the growth rate's really, surprising at 105%. Chips and cereals were other areas we saw growing. We'll dive in, but we also saw meat snacks declining and having a very low opportunity score for keto. So here's a few examples of those brands inside these different categories. For candy, we saw Kiss My Keto, a company that makes these gummy bears that are on the keto diet. So you can get this sort of sweet taste, sweet tooth that some people want without much sugar, without much calories. Magic Spoon is a cereal that's for keto consumers, but what's really unique about it is it's designed to help adults have the nostalgic feeling of eating cereal. So it's designed like a childhood cereal, and to also allow kids to have that keto-friendly cereal if their parents are on keto, makes it a family meal. Bars, we looked at Dang, for example, this brand that makes these natural keto-friendly bars that are plant-based. And for meat snacks, we looked at Chomps, which is a beef jerky snack sticks company that focuses on having really high quality meat inside their beef jerky sticks. So first we'll dive into cereals and we'll look at Magic Spoon. And one thing we wanted to do was see, Magic Spoon, how they're growing over time, because we see really exponential growth in the last couple of years. Magic Spoon uses a lot of natural ingredients and sugar alternatives like monk fruit and stevia to make it so that their cereal can have the sweetness a consumer desires and gives them the nostalgia of childhood, but without violating the keto diet, so that they can stay healthy on this diet. They can abide by the diet and not have any problems. One of the questions when we analyze keto cereal is, what consumers should we go after? What are the consumers that are most interested in keto cereals? And here we see gluten-free is one of the highest opportunities out there, as well as a diabetic consumer. So consumers are actively looking in these two psychographics for keto-friendly cereals. Meanwhile, athletes seems to be dropping. It had a low base size to begin with. Athletes aren't using a lot of keto-friendly cereals, or they're not talking or interested in it enough, but it's still declining despite that small base size. We also learned that keto cereals skew increasingly female. So there's 59% of consumers of keto cereals are female, but that is growing almost actually at a double the growth rate as male consumers of keto cereals. The other area we wanted to dive into today was meat snacks. So here we saw Chomps, which is a keto-friendly beef jerky snack stick. So one thing we saw was this is another brand that is really growing, really doing well the last few years, even though the meat snacks area of keto is not performing very well. And so we wanted to dive further and understand what is causing their performance to be strong and what opportunities exist in meat snacks for brands. So one of the first questions we asked is, what needs are growing the quickest, right? And we saw that cravings, hunger satisfaction, being allergen friendly, for example, soy-free or gluten-free, and convenience are among the top 4 highest opportunities for meat snacks to address the keto target. Meanwhile, high quality is declining. It has a small base size, but consumers are less focused on getting a meat snack because of the high quality messaging than its messaging around convenience or allergen friendliness. So the second question here is, what consumer psychographic is the best fit for meat snacks? And here we can see that vegans are among the top for growth rate. They have a 425% year-on-year growth rate in interest for meat snacks. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, we see, the people who are doing yoga among the bottom with 80% declination rate. We notice that meat snacks skew male pretty substantially. Around 62% of the data that was analyzed was from a male, and that's growing at 18% growth rate. So again, we took all of this data and we created concepts out of it. These rough concepts, but ideas. With that data, what can we create? And we came up with 3 ideas from the data. The first one was a gluten-free, keto-friendly cereal for children. And here we saw that what one brand is doing so well today is they're allowing consumers on the keto diet to have a meal with their family by having it sugary without the actual sugar. It's sweet and it appeals to children. It allows the nostalgia of having a childhood cereal as well, but it's keto friendly. And to add gluten-free to that would make it so that you can access this allergen-free focused psychographic. The second one here we put together was convenient vegan jerky to satisfy meat cravings. So we took 2 large growing consumer needs, convenience and meat cravings from people who are on keto. And we identified that with the vegan psychographic also growing its interest in these snacks, combining them into a jerky would be able to access the 3 different areas. The third concept we came up with was a soy-free Beyond Beef stick to power through keto hunger spells. And so one of the largest needs growing in the keto snacks area is this hunger satisfaction. Especially as people start keto, they experience for a week or 2 extreme hunger, and creating these allergen friendly, so the soy-free piece, beef snacks would allow them to get through those. So that's 2 sections. We're going to go on now to the third section, which is plant-based protein snacks. Before we jump in, again, a quick definition. Plant-based protein snacks are protein snacks that are, using plant-based proteins. Sounds funny, but it's an alternative source of protein. So instead of the traditional way where you might consume meat, these are snacks that allow people in other dietary lifestyles, for example, vegans or vegetarians, to then get and supplement their diet with these snacks. So one of the highest opportunity areas that we saw in the category was, again, cereals, but maybe more surprisingly was these meat alternatives. We also saw chips are growing quite quickly and crackers are declining by 17% year on year in consumer interest. When we looked inside these categories, we saw cereals like High Key are performing really well. It's a gluten-free, sugar-free, sweet cereal. We saw meat alternatives, brands like Moku are performing well, where they create a beef jerky without the meat. We saw flavored packed popped crisps from Popcorners. It's a snack that is sort of providing energy boost as the benefit. And we saw in the cookies area, which is again declining, there's Monk Pack. And Monk Pack protein cookies, they're designed to be a healthy alternative to cookies. One of the questions we asked here, again, is what are the highest opportunities in terms of benefits? What benefits do people actively seek from plant-based protein snacks? And as we dove into the data, we saw vitamins among 29% year-on-year growth. It's with 1.36% of the share of voice around vitamins. This is a huge amount of growth, as well as keto-friendly. People are looking for plant-based protein snacks increasingly to be keto-friendly and supplement their keto diet. Another area is around convenience. And so One of the things plant-based protein snacks allow is a very quick form to get protein on the go, whether you're on the way to the gym or you just don't have time to cook a meal and you want to get protein. It's a very quick way. What we saw declining was immunity, which we found surprising. It's declining 9% year on year, and we believe it's declining because consumers were much more interested about 1 year ago and a little bit more than 1 year ago at the onset of COVID. And since then, consumers have become a little bit less interested in immune-focused benefits because of things like vaccines. We also see high quality, one of the big marketing points in plant-based protein snacks, as declining from the heart of the consumer's mind. So consumers are thinking less and less about the quality of plant-based protein snacks when they're making their purchasing decision and focusing more about what does that snack give them besides the protein. When we look into the ingredients of plant-based protein snacks, we understand that mushrooms are growing at an incredible rate. 524% year-on-year growth for mushrooms in plant-based protein snacks. As well, we saw soy protein isolate, something with 21% share. It's still growing 15% year-on-year. And so it represents a huge opportunity for future innovation to include ingredients like these. At the same time, we saw hemp seed is declining. Hemp seed, which has nearly 6% share, is declining over 50% year on year, and probably an area to research more heavily if you're really locked in on launching a product with hemp seed for plant-based protein snacks. So we turned this data into a couple concepts. The first concept we created was puffed lentils with Himalayan sea salt and B vitamins. So we saw lentils among one of the most rapidly growing ingredients there, and B vitamins is something consumers are actively searching for inside the vitamin benefit. We also saw keto-friendly dried shiitake mushroom nacho chips as an opportunity. So there we combine the psychographic of people looking for keto-friendly snacks, as well as the mushrooms as a hugely growing 525% year-on-year growth, I believe, and chips as one of the big forms inside plant-based protein snacks. And we combine those to make the concept keto-friendly dried shiitake mushroom nacho chips, which is a lot of words.